Good evening and warm welcome. Currently, the market is largely reacting to developments on the war front and movements in Brent crude prices. Investors seem relatively less concerned about Q4 earnings, and most results are broadly in line with expectations. Domestic institutions or domestic institutional investors, they are continuingly providing support to the market in last 2 months. If we consider the FI's activity, then they sold heavily into the market, but domestic institutions have managed to offset that selling, which has actually helped the market to sustain or survive above the mark of 22,000. So while looking at the FI's activity, we can say that they still remain cautious and have not yet turned fully positive on Indian markets. But we need to see that how actually this particular dollar rupee plays from here, because in last 2 days, if we consider the overall trend of Indian rupee, then there we are seeing some strength. And today it was around 94.1020 sort of levels from the levels of 95.2030. So which is something positive and which can actually help the market to move higher. But beyond the headlines, there are many important things to understand and to discuss what happened in the previous month, how the market is positioned now, and what strategy investors should follow in the current month. For that, we have with us Amarjit Maurya. Amarjit will also share his views on key sectors, market direction, and important levels to watch out, or we can say to maybe we can consider while trading or investing in the current month. And also, as always, in the second half of the session, we will discuss for top stocks for our investors, and we will also take up your queries towards the end of the session. So, over to you, Amar.
Thank you, sir. Gaurav, please share this presentation. Okay, so already sir explained, like in this presentation, we will talk about the Indian and global market and some macros, Indian macros, and central bank policy and outlook and valuation for the India and our top picks. So we will start with the presentation. So first slide is our global indices performance. So April 2026 was a positive month for the global market, mainly supported by easing geopolitics tension, lower crude oil prices, and improving the investor sentiments. Most major global indices recovered strongly after the correction seen in the March. Asian market like South Korea, Taiwan, Japan deliver a strong gain, while US market also rebound well. On the Indian market front, benchmark indices moved higher with the broader market outperforming during the month. Next slide. This slide highlight the performance across the different sector in the Indian market during the April 2026. Realty, utility, and capital goods and industrial were among the top gainer, showing strong momentum in the domestic growth related sector. Meanwhile, defensive sector like IT, healthcare witnessed relatively slower movement during the month. Overall market participation remained broad-based across the most sectors. Next slide. Okay, so global central bank policy. So this slide highlight the recent policy action of major global central banks. So on the US front, अगर हम देखें तो US Federal Reserve kept rate unchanged, which is around 3.5 to 3.75 for the third consecutive meetings. So main उन्होंने rate change नहीं किया in this meeting, and while remain maintain the cautious stand on the future rate cut. और सिमिलरली अगर देखा जाए तो जैसे यूएस ने रेट अनचेंज किया है, रेट चेंज नहीं किया है और सेम रखा है, वैसे यूरोपियन सेंट्रल बैंक एंड बैंक ऑफ इंग्लैंड आल्सो केप्ट रेट on hold. I mean, due to main the reason is that concern about the inflation and slowing growth, global growth. So overall, central bank continued to remain data dependence and amid geopolitical and energy related worries. So यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है कि ओवरऑल मीटिंग्स जो भी हुई थी यूएस की, यूरोप की, इंग्लैंड की, जो भी सेंटर जो ग्लोबल सेंट्रल बैंक है उनका एक ही डायरेक्शन दिख रहा है यहाँ पे, क्योंकि बिकॉज यहाँ पे इन्फ्लेशन का वरी है, ग्रोथ का एक कंसर्न है, बिकॉज जियो पॉलिटिकल टेंशन है। अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट यहाँ पे इन्फ्लेशन बढ़ने की पॉसिबिलिटी है, क्योंकि मोस्टली अगर यहाँ पे देखें तो यहाँ पे वी आर वरीड अबाउट द क्रूड, जो एनर्जी है, क्रूड, उसकी वॉलिटिलिटी बहुत ज़्यादा था यहाँ पे। अगर इनके अगर वॉर प्रोलॉन्ग होता है बिटवीन यूएस एंड ईरान, तो यहाँ पे चीज़ें और वर्स हो जाएगी, इन्फ्लेशन बढ़ जाएगा। तो इसीलिए ये लोग का अप्रोच है, जितने भी बैंक्स, इनका अप्रोच है कि डेटा ड्रिवन, अगर डेटा जैसा आएगा उसके ऊपर डिसीजन लेंगे। सो नेक्स्ट स्लाइड। सो इंडियन इन्फ्लेशन एंड monetary policy. So we are not different. So the RBI kept the repo rate unchanged at 5.25. Continue its pause as the inflation under the control, growth conditions stay stable. So यहाँ पे ने आरबीआई का रेट चेंज नहीं हुआ, सेम रखा। और यहाँ पे आरबीआई ने अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट उन्होंने अश्योर किया है कि मतलब एक प्रॉपर लिक्विडिटी हो मार्केट में, जिससे ग्रोथ मोमेंटम बना रहे, राइट। तो वो चीज उन्होंने देखा है। हाउएवर सेंट्रल बैंक रिमेन कॉशियस ड्यू टू द रिस्क फ्रॉम द जियोपॉलिटिकल टेंशन, सप्लाई साइड डिस्ट्रप्शन एंड क्लाइमेट रिलेटेड फैक्टर विच कुड इम्पैक्ट द इन्फ्लेशन गोइंग हेड। सो ओवरऑल द पॉलिसी स्टैंड्स रिमेन सपोर्टिव एंड डेटा डिपेंडेंट, जैसे मैंने बताया था कि अक्रॉस द ग्लोबल सेंट्रल बैंक पॉलिसी भी फॉलो करिए बेस्ड ऑन द डेटा, जैसा डेटा आएगा वैसे रिएक्शन आएगा। नेक्स्ट स्लाइड। ओके। सो इंडियन परफॉर्मेंस ऑफ द मैक्रो फैक्टर्स। तो यहाँ पे हम मैक्रो फैक्टर्स की बात करेंगे, जो इन मंथ लास्ट मंथ में जो भी डेटा है उसके ऊपर हम हमारा थॉट क्या है। सो जीएसटी कलेक्शन है विच वाज रिकॉर्ड हाई, अराउंड 2.43 लाख करोड़ का कलेक्शन हुआ है इन अप्रैल 2026, विच इज इंडिकेटिंग हेल्दी इकोनॉमिक एक्टिविटीज एंड रेजिलियंट डिमांड। बट अगर आईआईपी की नंबर की देखिए बात, इंडस्ट्रियल इंडिया से इंडस्ट्रियल प्रोडक्शन ग्रोथ विच वाज मॉडरेट अराउंड 4.1% ईयर ऑन ईयर इन मार्च 2026, which is reflecting the slowdown in the some pockets manufacturing activities। कुछ कुछ पॉकेट्स में मैन्युफैक्चरिंग एक्टिविटी स्लो डाउन दिख रही है। मीनवाइल जियोपॉलिटिकल टेंशन कंटिन्यू टू कीप ग्लोबल ट्रेड कंडीशन वोलेटाइल। ट्रेड डेफिसिट का डेटा है इन मार्च का, इट वाज नैरो, बट ओवरऑल अगर 2026 का देखें तो डेफिसिट रिमेन हाई, मेनली ड्यू टू द हायर क्रूड ऑयल प्राइसेस। इन एडिशन हम हमें एक अभी रिसेंट कंसर्न है, आईएमडी एक्सपेक्ट कर रहा है कि द मॉनसून विल बी स्लाइटली बिलो नॉर्मल, विच कुड इम्पैक्ट द रूरल डिमांड, एग्रीकल्चर आउटपुट एंड इन्फ्लेशन आउटलुक गोइंग हेड। तो एक अपार्ट, तो मोटा मोटी हमारे इंडिया में एक कंसर्न है अगर हम देखें तो नंबर एक तो, जो हम लोग का जो एनर्जी है वो हम लोग दूसरे देश पे डिपेंड करते हैं, काफ़ी हम लोग इंपोर्ट करते हैं। तो वहाँ पे कुछ प्रॉपर अगर कुछ डायरेक्शन रॉन्ग जाता है तो वहाँ पे क्रूड के बढ़ने के चांसेस है। अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट मॉनसून का भी प्रिडिक्शन आया कि प्रॉपर नहीं होगा, तो यहाँ पे इन्फ्लेशन एक वरीज है नियर टर्म में। अगर इन्फ्लेशन बढ़ता है तो थोड़ा वो मार्केट को अफेक्ट कर सकता है। नेक्स्ट स्लाइड। So outlook, valuation. So geopolitical tension remain key risk as higher crude oil prices could impact the both inflation and economic growth. Despite the global challenges, the corporate earning continue to remain resilient, healthy, supported by mainly financial sector, export-oriented sector. After the recent market correction, valuation have become relatively more reasonable, improving the risk-reward outlook for the investor. अगर हम देखें निफ्टी की अर्निंग की बात करें, निफ्टी की अर्निंग जो निफ्टी 50 की अर्निंग की बात करें, तो वी आर एक्सपेक्टिंग 19% ग्रोथ इन FY 27। उसका मल्टीपल बनता है पीई के हिसाब से 19.4x। एंड फॉर द 18 वी आर एक्सपेक्टिंग 14% ग्रोथ, एंड द पीई वैल्यूएशन इज अराउंड 17x, so on FY 28 earning. So overall market is volatile. We can be seen as a long term accumulation opportunities। यहाँ पे जो भी डिप आता है मार्केट में, थोड़ा भी करेक्शन आता है, तो वी कैन टेक इट एज अ अपॉर्चुनिटीज, और एवरी डिप में हमें अच्छी लॉन्ग टर्म गुड स्टॉक को एक्यूमुलेट कर सकते हैं। फॉर सेक्टर वाइज वी कंटिन्यू टू प्रिफर सेक्टर लाइक BFSI, कैपिटल गुड्स एंड सेलेक्टिव फार्मा कंपनीज, जहाँ पे हमें अच्छा लगता है। नेक्स्ट स्लाइड। Nifty 50 index valuation. So this chart shows the historical valuation trend of the Nifty index based on the P/E ratio. After the recent market correction, valuation has moderated from the earlier high level and are now closer to long-term average range. This provides the relatively better comfort for the long-term investor compared to expensive valuation seen in the past. Next slide. Next, apart from that, we like the few stocks. So we have recommended in this month. So CAM, DCB Bank, Jubilant, FEM Industry, and Loda Developers. So these are the stock we like, and we are positive on that. And already we have reported, we have released our strategy report. उसमें भी हमने mention किया था. Now our colleague, each stock will explain in the detail. So over to Arun.
Yeah. Thanks, Amar. So one of the stocks that we like in the auto space, in fact, it's an auto ancillary company, that's VM Industry. Now the company, if you look at, they basically are into manufacturing automotive lighting and largely for the two-wheeler players. And they've also got they also do rear view mirrors as well. But lights form the majority part of the revenues for them. Now, the reason why we like the stock is multifold. The first reason is that, the way the company's revenue growth has been over the past, even if you look at, say, last 20 years data, the company has done exceptionally well in terms of revenue growth. They have been outperforming the growth for the two-wheeler industry, and we think that trend will continue going forward as well. The key reasons for that is one, that the company, because more and more two-wheelers are now coming with LED lighting, and the prices of LED lighting are higher as compared to an halogen light. So the transitioning is happening, which for the past few years, and this will continue to happen over the next few years as well. So that's one reason why the company is able to grow ahead of the industry. The second is that the company's customers, now this company supplies lights to almost all the top customers in the two-wheeler space except for Bajaj Auto. And the way the company's clients, TVS and others have been growing, have been phenomenal. And that has also contributed to, healthy growth for the company. And we expect that trend to continue going ahead as well. The third reason is that the company earlier was not supplying to Hero MotoCorp. Now Hero is the market leader. And now they have added that as also the customer. Now going forward, more and more new orders they're getting from Hero, and that should also contribute to growth for them. So these are the reasons why we think, the company will continue to outperform the two-wheeler industry volume growth. Apart from that, the other big opportunity for the company going forward will be the four-wheeler segment. Now, they were not present into the four-wheeler segment or the car segment, but for the past couple of years now, they have been working on that strategy, and they have started in a very small way. But we believe that going forward, maybe in a year or maybe a couple of years down the line, we should see decent revenue coming even from the four-wheeler segment as well. So any positive news flow from the company with respect to if they get any big orders from any, major companies, that should be positive for the stock. So again, the margins also have seen tremendous improvement, and in the last quarter also they have done good EBITDA margins, and we expect the margin trend should be strong. So based on this, we expect the company's revenues and earnings to grow at a healthy pace going forward. The other couple of things I'd like to highlight is on the balance sheet front. The company does not have any debt. It's a net cash company, and the on the cash flow side, the company generates positive operating cash flow, and they also have free cash flows. So even after doing their capex, they do have some cash left every year, and that has led to a decent cash in the books. The return ratios, when you look at, say, ROE, yeah, ROC, if you look at these two ratios, they are in about 20%, 20%. From a valuation perspective, also the stock is trading at an attractive valuation, and we like the stock. We are positive on the stock with a fair value of 2809. That's what we have, and we have a buy rating on CA. Over to my colleague here.
Hi. So I would be talking about CAMS. So CAMS recently came up with the reported its number. So giving a bird eye view, company has reported soft growth in on a Q-on-Q basis, having a slowdown due to the slowdown in the equity markets, mainly caused by the West Asia war, harming the AUMs for the mutual fund, which affects the RTA's revenue side as a domino effect. Uh, on a YOY basis, the company has reported a good growth of 14% on a YOY basis, and in the non-MF business, they have reported around 24% growth. Majorly, the yields have been stable. for the company. So talking about the mutual fund part of the revenue, which participates around 85% of the total revenue. So the company has a strong market share of 68% in the mutual fund industry. So and it consists of all the big names, including the ICICI, AMC, HDFC, AMC, Kotak AMC, uh, which together uh, cap around 40 to 50% of the total AMC market. So due to the higher, you can say, operational and higher shifting cost, these companies would continue to be keep CAMS as their RTA, and these companies have strong inflows in form of SIP and higher retail participation. So as and when we have seen the bounce back in the equity markets, so these companies would have stronger AUM, and we can see a mark-to-market gains in the next quarter for revenues in CAMS as well. Talking about the non-MF revenue forefront, where the company has seen of around 24% growth, 20% odd percentage, which was majorly contributed by the CAMS Pay, which handles the payment business, the CAMS Insurance RTA, which has a strong presence in the Gift City, and the CAMS Alternative and AIF forefront. The company has guided for a further 20% growth in their non-MF business, and it would continue to uh, like to grow in the non-MF business, as the MF business is running as a cash cow for the company, with only two RTAs being given the license to act as an transfer agent, and higher switching costs and operational uh, difficulties to switch and from one RTA to another. We see limited competition pressure in the MF business, and for the non-MF business, the company has been posting strong growth. So these all have made us gives us a positive review on the stock. The stock has recently rallied post the numbers. So any downside or any healthy correction would see as a good opportunity to buy the stock, and it would act as a good steady compounder. Over to Pankaj, sir.
Uh, Thank you, Gaurav. Next stock that we are discussing is Lodha Developers, where we have buy recommendation and fair value is 1330 rupees. Lodha, as you all aware, it's one of the major player in the real estate space, particularly from the Mumbai and Pune market. They have a strong track record. And in the last 2, 3 years, the company has done well in Bangalore market as well. And now the company is looking at NCR market. So probably by the end of this current financial year, they will be launching a pilot project in NCR. So in that way, the company is expanding its presence across geographies. If we look at the overall performance of the company, so last year the company has reported 17% growth in pre-sales. And the FY27, they have guided for 17% pre-sales growth to continue on a strong base. So in that way, they are looking at 24,000 crore of pre-sales. So this pre-sales will be supported by a very strong launch pipeline that the company is having. In fact, if you look at the company's unsold inventories around 2 lakh crore, so along with the total pipeline of the project which they have added over the last few years. Uh, so that will support the pre-sales for the next financial year. In terms of margins also, if you look at the company is guided for a 32 to 34% kind of growth EBITDA margin, and that looks quite attractive, and it is more or less at par with the last financial year. We expect the overall pre-sales to grow at double-digit growth in next 2 to 3 years. And apart from that, the company is having a very large land bank in Palava near Mumbai. And so there, the company is roughly having around 4,000 acres of land parcel. And they are also developing data center in partnership, as well as they will be selling the land to the third party. So there, the financing of those projects will be would be met through the land sales at that location. So in that way, they are looking at annuity income. So they have tied up for a potential 1,000 crore of rental income. Apart from data center, they also have a commercial project. So in that way, they are also building annuity income. The stock is looking attractive at current levels. It had corrected last, if you look at due to the Middle East crisis, we have seen the correction in the middle real estate stock. But
With this kind of growth and the sales performance, we expect the stock to do well in the long term. Lodha is very much focused on balance sheet, ROE focus, cash flow is quite strong. They have reduced the debt. So we are positive on the stock. We maintain buy on Lodha with the sum of the parts based fair value of 1330 rupees. This is all from my side. Over to Rini.
Thank you, Pankaj sir. So our another pick is Jubilant Ingravia, and this business is where things are starting to improve meaningfully. So just to give you a quick sense of the business, Jubilant works in pyridine chemistry. This chemical is actually used in a lot of everyday things like agrochemicals, medicines, vitamins, even cosmetics. So, so if you've heard of niacinamide in skincare, they are a key global supplier there. And importantly, they are one of the few large non-China players, which is a big advantage in today's environment. They operate across three segments, that is specialty chemicals, nutrition, and chemical intermediates. Now, what's really changing? First, in the near term, post the Iran situation, pricing has picked up across intermediates nutrition, so Q4 itself should look better. We are building in roughly 9% revenue growth and about 24% EBITDA growth sequentially. But the more interesting part is what's coming next. Their large agrochemical CDMO contract kicks in from March, which has already kicked in from March 2026. And it's not just a one-time thing. There are protection clauses and potential to expand the relationship. So visibility is quite good. On top of that, the pipeline is also strong. About 1400 crores of order book and another 1800 crores under discussion. So it's not a one client story. And valuation wise, we are looking at a fair value of 880. So there's that's all. And so overall, near term numbers will improve, but more importantly, the business mix itself is getting better. So which is moving towards higher margin segments. So yeah, that's it from my side. Over to Veer.
Yeah, thank you, Rini. Hello to all. A very good afternoon. So CB Bank is another stock which we like. This is in the banking space. Now, the bank recently reported its Q4 results, and they reported a pretty steady and strong set of results. So, if you look at the key matrices for DCB Bank in Q4, we see that they reported a loan growth of 17.5%, and this was 6% up on a sequential basis. The deposit growth was materially higher than the loan growth. The margin for the bank, net interest margin for the bank improved on a sequential basis and it stood at 3.4% level. We also know that both its gross NPA ratio and net
I think there's some issue at Veer's end. Just everyone, just hold on for a sec.
yeah. So yeah, I think I'm back now. Yeah. So continuing, DCB Bank's Q4 results were pretty strong. Uh, Both its gross NPA ratio and net NPA ratio have seen a material improvement. We also see that the slippage ratio also improved in Q4. On back of these steady numbers, we report that they reported a PAT growth of close to 15% level. Now, this is not just about Q4 being good for the bank. We have also seen that consistently for many quarters, the bank has been reporting very strong set of numbers. As you can see from your screen, there has been a material improvement in its gross NPA ratio. The current GNPA ratio is at a multi-year low for DCB Bank. The margins has been on an upward trajectory on a sequential basis, and therefore, on back of these, they've been reporting a very steady improvement in its PAT, and at the same time, its return ratios, that is ROA, is now close to 1% level, which is at a multi-quarter high. Despite the bank reporting a very consistently a good thing, they still trade at a valuation which is near to their book value, and therefore we find a valuation gap arising for DCB Bank. The bank is also raising funds, and therefore, even the medium-term outlook from a growth perspective looks very good. So fundamentally, things look really good. Valuations are quite attractive, and therefore, It remains one of our favorite stock in the banking space. And on the stock, we have a buy rating. So that's it from my end.
Thank you, Veer and team. We will now open the floor for Q&A session. So I request everyone to drop their questions in the chat box. I'll begin with some of the question we already have. So one participant wants to know the view on APL Apollo tubes. So for this, I'll request Amarjeet to share his views.
Thank you, Rini. We have a buy rating on this stock, and we have a target price of 200 to 2,284 rupees. And the APL Apollo Tube is India's leading structural steel tube player with the 5,000 plus SKUs and strong presence across the key end market. The company is expanding their capacity from the 5 million to 8 million ton by 2028, while increasing their focus on the high margin value-added product. Backed by the strong wide distribution network, which is around 800 plus a distributor across the 300 towns, and improving the return ratio. And also during the fourth quarter, company has reported a decent number. The top line was 14% growth, and PAT was around 21% growth. So considering all of this, we have a buy rating and we like the stock.
Thank you, Amarjeet. Another question is from FMCG space. One participant wants to know the view on Varun Beverages. I'll request our FMCG analyst, Amit Agarwal, to share his view on the same.
Yeah, Rini. Varun, we have an ad rating with a target price of 540. Varun, last 1 month has given a good run up. Varun, this quarter reported a very strong quarter with volumes at around 14.2%. जो key concerns है stock में, that is competition and realization, that was addressed during the current quarter. Company is receiving lot of support from PepsiCo, that is a parent company. Company is also experiencing benefits of GST reduction on some of its products, and operational efficiencies are also playing out. Adverse weather conditions in the March quarter as well as expected in the June quarter should further support the performance of Varun Beverages. International business is also doing very well. Company is diversifying into different products internationally, including alcoholic beverages. So overall, the scene looks very good for Varun Beverages. Next quarter, next 2 quarters should be very good for the company. And we have an ad rating on the stock with a target price of 540.
Thank you. Next question is from the auto space. What are the topics in the auto sector? Arun sir, can you share your views?
Yeah. So, see, overall, ever since the GST rate cut happened last year, we have seen a good momentum in the auto space. In fact, all the segments for the past, say, 6, 7, in fact, 8 months, the volume growth has been pretty strong, and we're also seeing, a little bit of rally in the stock. But what has happened, after the Middle East conflict is the commodity price have also seen an increase, and there have been some concerns in terms of, risk to the margins. So we'll have to take both things into consideration. One is the volume growth part, the second is the impact on margins, and also thirdly on the valuation, because the stocks have also seen run up. So taking all those things into consideration and the future growth trajectory for most of the for the auto players, in the passenger vehicle or the four-wheeler segment, we like Mahindra and Mahindra. We believe they have the potential, to see a decent volume growth in the SUV segment. That's been in the trend. So we expect that, strong demand for the SUVs will continue. The company has been launching a lot of new products, and the overall product pipeline is pretty strong for the company over the next many years. In the tractor segment also, they have been doing well. The growth has been pretty strong so far. So we have expect the growth to remain healthy in the first half. Maybe second half we'll see a bit of moderation in demand because the base becomes higher, and also there could be some impact of, say, weaker monsoons, which has been anticipated this year. In the light commercial vehicles, again, they have been doing pretty strong, and they're the market leaders in the sub 3.5 ton segment, and we believe they will continue to do well. So Mahindra and Mahindra is one pick that we like in the four-wheeler space. In the two-wheeler space, we like TVS Motors. TVS Motors have done very well in over the past few years now, they have been growing at a pretty strong rate. The valuations, as we understand, they are on the higher side, but again, the growth trajectory is expected to be stronger for TVS Motors. Maybe at current levels or any correction or dip we see in the stock could be looked as an opportunity for TVS Motors. In the commercial vehicle space, we like Tata Motors commercial vehicles. So, there again, the CV volumes have been decent, and that's one play we like. So in all the, segments that we like, we've shared our topics. Yeah, so that's it from my side.
Thank you, Arun sir. Another question we have is for view on PI industries. I'll try and answer that. So basically, we have a sell view on PI industry. If I talk about the fourth quarter expectations, then that quarter will probably be a weak quarter, though sequentially there should be some recovery from the depressed third quarter base. The street is building in 11% revenue decline year on year. Um, and EBITDA and net profit is also expected to be down, largely due to tougher base and continuous softness in agrochemical demand. Quarter-on-quarter trends appear better than revenues, EBITDA expected up mid-teens. Um, so key monitorable would be commentary on order pipeline, export demand recovery, and margin trajectory into FY27. So we continue to have a sell view on the stock. Uh, Moving on to next question that we have. What's your view on Amber Enterprises? Can I hold for 2 years? Again, I'll go to Arun sir for this.
Yeah, see, Amber, the stock price has seen a pretty sharp movement, and overall we have been positive on the stock, and we do like the stock. The company, few years back, we always used to talk about the company being more of a player into the room AC segment, where they, made a lot of parts and even the complete AC sets for various branded players. But over the years, the company has, moved more, or added new growth segment, which is on the electronic side, the motor side, the PCB side. That particular segment is also growing pretty strongly for the company. Going forward, our expectation from a growth perspective for Amber is that they will continue to see a pretty strong growth going forward as well. So we do like the stock, but since the stock has actually run up significantly, if you're looking to add the stocks, maybe use declines to add the stock. But if you're holding the stock, I think one can continue to hold the stock for a long-term investment.
Understood. There's one more question for you. What is your view on Kajaria Ceramics?
Kajaria, the company gave their results. The results were very strong. In fact, their EBITDA margins, I think, was at a 5-year high, and the revenue growth that we have seen in the tile segment also was significantly strong because we have not seen the double-digit tiles volume growth for past many quarters now. But this quarter, we saw a decent growth or a double-digit volume growth in that segment. Further, there are, certain complications with respect to gas supply, which has been hitting the Morbi industry. In March, we have been getting news that, the industry had taken a shutdown because of shortage of gas. Some plants did start as per some media reports, it's, mid-April, and then there are expectations some of the plants would have started now in May as well. But overall, the tiles industry from Morbi is yet to come to the peak levels of production. Overall, the companies have also taken price hikes, and we expect the volume growth, what they have seen, at least to continue in the near term. And in terms of volume growth, FY27 should be better than FY26. Secondly, the company last year took many initiatives where they have significantly reduced the cost. So we have seen the benefit of that on the margins for the company, and we expect that to continue going forward as well. So yeah, we like the stock. We have a buy rating on the stock.
Thank you. Sorry. There's another question from Sandeep. What is the target price of Vari Energies? Can I hold or exit? I bought at 3,240. For this, we have Pankaj sir. Pankaj sir, would you like to answer this query?
Yeah, sure. On Vari, we have a reduced rating and we have a fair value of 2980. See, Vari, if you look at the results, the company is disappointed in terms of margins and execution as well. In this quarter, particularly, we have seen the cell production has also slowed down. And in fact, the realization was also, there was a drop in the realization due to lower contribution of the DCR modules and the overseas business as well. And also there's ongoing tariff-related concerns on the export side. So these all concerns have basically impacted, and we believe that the company is doing a lot of expansion and diversification strategies also there. They are looking at new avenues, like they're going further backward. So in that way, the long term, there are a lot of initiatives, but all these positives are factored in the current market price, and we have a reduced rating with a fair value of 2980.
Thank you. Next question is for Sumit sir. Sumit sir, what is your view on Coforge?
If you look in the IT space, the best performance has been reported by mid-tier IT service company, which is Coforge. In fact, if you look at the margins, they have quoted the highest margin in their last few quarters. In fact, highest in last so many years. So, given that the company's focus is is on niche AI-driven services, and they have categorically mentioned that their focus is on outcome-based services. That means it is not a traditional side type of services which other IT companies are giving, like manpower, just supply the manpower and get the billing done. No, it is not like this. So once the enterprise or the client get their desired outcome, based on that they charges. So the IT service plug is still required in the industry, and they have expertise in certain specific verticals, and their focus is very niche in those segment verticals also. So what I'm trying to tell you, that just to give an example, they have focus on travel vertical, and they believe that the growth opportunities are huge in travel vertical, and within that they are doing some specialized work which is getting them higher margins as compared to other peers. Cost optimization and all other initiatives they are taking, they are incorporating or imbibing AI within the organization, which is helping them to reduce the cost. This all leads to better future outlook, and we are very, very positive on the execution skills of the company.
Right. Thank you. Next question is, which one can I hold, NSDL or CDSL? I have investments in both the stocks. For this, we have Amarjit. Amarjit, would you like to answer this?
Okay, so we have CDSL coverage, so we are able to comment on the CDSL. So basically अगर आप CDSL और NSDL देखोगे तो लास्ट 6 महीने में 18% 18 से 19% करेक्ट हुए हैं दोनों स्टॉक बिकॉज ऑफ द मार्केट बिकॉज मोस्टली दिस स्टॉक्स आर कोरिलेटेड विद द कैपिटल मार्केट्स तो वहाँ पे एक स्टॉक में करेक्शन आया बट CDSL में अगर मैं बात करूँ स्पेसिफिकली तो थोड़ा कंसर्न था क्योंकि उसके अंदर एक बिजनेस है जो क्या केवाईसी करता है और केवाईसी के चार्जेस थोड़े कम हुए हैं वन टाइम और फेचिंग के लिए तो वहाँ पे थोड़ा सा स्टॉक में वहाँ पे थोड़ा सा मोस्टली दैट the fair KYC the CDSL business KYC business contribute almost 20% of business revenue तो वहाँ पे थोड़े बिजनेस इम्पैक्ट होंगे बट इवेंचुअली जब रेट कम होंगे तो ऑन बोर्डिंग न्यू कस्टमर आएंगे तो वहाँ पे ग्रोथ आ सकता है सो इन नियर टर्म में थोड़ा कंसर्न है बट इवेंचुअली अगर मैं लॉन्ग टर्म पे देखूँ स्टॉक करेक्ट हुआ है और उसके वैल्यूएशन कंपेयर टू पास इट वाज काफ़ी रिजनेबल हो गए हैं और कंटिन्यूसली CDSL नंबर ऑफ डीमेट अकाउंट ऐड कर रहा है जिसके कारण और ही इज़ अ मार्केट लीडर इन दैट कंटिन्यूसली गेनिंग अ मार्केट शेयर सो अभी इंडिया में पेनिट्रेशन कम है इवेंचुअली द पेनिट्रेशन विल इंक्रीज कैपिटल मार्केट्स में तो यहाँ पे डीमेट अकाउंट्स खुलेंगे और CDSL जैसे प्लेयर को डीमेट अकाउंट मिलेंगे बिकॉज मोस्ट ऑफ द प्लेयर्स लाइक डिस्काउंट ब्रोकर इज कनेक्टेड विद द CDSL तो वहाँ पे उनका ग्रोथ फास्ट होगा कंपेयर टू ट्रेडिशनल ब्रोकर सो यहाँ पे इनको बेनिफिट मिलेगा CDSL को सो इवेंचुअली अगर ओवरऑल अगर मैं देखूँ तो कहीं ना कहीं समहाउ दिस इज राइट अपॉर्चुनिटीज अगर जो अभी ये प्राइस चल रहा है इस पे अगर आप खरीदोगे लॉन्ग टर्म होराइजन के लिए तो ये अच्छा एक इन्वेस्टमेंट बेट हो सकता है और अभी एज ऑफ नाउ हमारा अप्रॉक्स 1500 टारगेट प्राइस है एंड वी हैव एड रेटिंग ऑन दैट
Thank you. Now I'll take one last question for the day. For this, I'll go to our analyst Amit Agarwal. Delivery is nearing my invested price, so can I continue holding it? Amit sir, over to you.
Yes. Delivery, we have been consistently positive for the last many quarters. कंपनी का अगर आप क्वार्टरली परफॉर्मेंस देखें तो वो भी काफ़ी इम्प्रूव हुआ है और हमारा करंट रेटिंग बाय है विद टारगेट प्राइस ऑफ 590। जो हमें ऐसा लगता है कि डिलीवरी आगे जाके काफ़ी अच्छा एग्जीक्यूट करेगा। कंपनी हैज़ डन लॉट ऑफ कॉम्पिटिटर कंसोलिडेशन, दे हैव शट डाउन ecom express, and company has gained significant pricing power and market share in third party express parcel logistics। कंपनी ने काफ़ी क्विक कॉमर्स का इंटीग्रेशन भी किया है। कंपनी पायलट पायलट बेसिस पे फुलफिलमेंट सर्विसेज चला रही है फॉर डार्क स्टोर्स, and it's positioning itself as a strong player for back-end infra for 10 to 30 minute delivery। और कंपनी काफ़ी हद तक B2B सेगमेंट में भी काफ़ी अच्छे अपने आप को अच्छे से प्लेस किया है। उनका जो अभी मंथली सेल्स है वो 8 करोड़ kg क्रॉस हो चुका है और हम लोग को ऐसा लगता है कि ये एक बहुत बड़ा सिग्निफिकेंट ड्राइवर रहेगा री रेटिंग के लिए। Q4 के नंबर्स अभी आए नहीं है बट हमें ऐसा लगता है कि इस क्वार्टर के नंबर्स काफ़ी स्ट्रांग रहेंगे। हमको एक्सपेक्टेशन है 33% सेल्स ग्रोथ तो अप्रोक्सीमेटली 2900 करोड़ का सेल्स। हमको ऐसा लगता है कि मार्जिन्स भी काफ़ी इम्प्रूव होंगे फ्रॉम 5.4% टू 7.8%। और ओवरऑल हमें ऐसा लगता है कि एडजस्टेड पैट ग्रो होगा अप्रोक्सीमेटली 60% ईयर ऑन ईयर टू 113 करोड़। So overall, it's a growing story. कंपनी has been doing very well. कंपटीशन को भी काफ़ी अच्छे से संभाल रही है और हमारा बाय रेटिंग है विद अ टारगेट प्राइस ऑफ 590।
Thank you. With this, I would like to invite Shrikant sir for his closing comments.
Yeah, thank you, Rini. So, very quickly, if we go through with the developments of last 2 days, then in last 2 days, we saw two major developments. The first one is, I can say, uh, crude prices, which have fallen from the highs of almost $120 per barrel to $98, $99 per barrel. And also, if we go through with the trend of currency, then there also we saw some appreciation, some strength. Our currency was around 95.30, 35. From there, all the way it is at 94, which is positive. And today, especially today, if we see the trend of the currency, then it was like consistently gaining during the day. Despite that, we saw market was weakening from the highs. We saw some profit taking, but yes, the confidence level is still very low. The reason is because FIs are consistently selling into the market. तो वो लोग कंसिस्टेंटली एफआईएस अपने इन्वेस्टमेंट्स को बेचते जा रहे हैं, जिसकी वजह से लार्ज कैप कंपनीज जो है वो अंडर प्रेशर है। और लार्ज कैप कंपनीज अगर अंडर प्रेशर में रहेंगी तो ऑटोमेटिकली उसका प्रेशर इंडेक्स पे रहेगा। और इसीलिए आप देख रहे हो कि लार्ज कैप कंपनीज की वजह से निफ्टी डाउन है। बट निफ्टी डाउन या तो आई कैन से कि निफ्टी परफॉर्म नहीं कर रहा है। बट अगर आप लार्ज कैप कंपनीज के कंपैरिजन में मिड कैप और स्मॉल कैप को देखेंगे तो इनफैक्ट दे आर वेरी क्लोज टू देयर प्रीवियस हाइज एंड मोस्ट ऑफ देम, आई मीन टू से मोस्ट ऑफ द कंपनीज हैव गेन्ड रियली बेटर देन एक्सपेक्टेशंस। सो जहाँ पे एफआईएस के इन्वेस्टमेंट्स नहीं है वहां पे आप देख रहे हो कि स्मार्ट इन्वेस्टर्स जो भी है या तो जो इनकी इनहेरेंट खुद की जो स्ट्रेंथ है दैट इज पुलिंग द प्राइसेस। सो ब्रॉडली आई एम ऑफ द व्यू दैट कि मार्केट जो है वो थोड़ा स्टेबल होने के लिए टाइम लगेगा, लेकिन सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट जो ट्रिगर हो सकता है मैं ये कहूंगा कि दैट इज आर करेंसी। अगर अपनी करेंसी अगर यहाँ से अगर और स्ट्रांग होती है तो एफआईएस के इन्वेस्टमेंट्स आ सकते हैं। उसका रीजन सबसे बड़ा ये है कि इस बार के जो क्वार्टरली नंबर्स आए हैं वो क्वार्टरली नंबर्स ऑलमोस्ट इन लाइन विद एक्सपेक्टेशंस है। इतने बड़े इवेंट के बाद भी कोई बड़ा डेंट नहीं आया है। एट द सेम टाइम कमेंट्री भी अगर आप देखेंगे तो कुछ एक कंपनीज जो विच आर वेरी क्लोजली रिलेटेड विथ वेस्ट एशिया क्राइसिस, उन्होंने कुछ थोड़ी सी अपनी कमेंट्री को स्लगिश दिखाया है या उन्होंने बताया है कि इसका इम्पैक्ट उनके कंपनी उनके बिजनेस पे हो सकता है। बट अदर देन दैट अगर हम देखेंगे तो जो ब्रॉडर मार्केट है वहां पे हमें लगता है कि जो एक टेंशन बना हुआ था कि वॉर से रिलेटेड कुछ और स्ट्राइक्स हो सकते हैं या नहीं हो सकते हैं, जिसकी वजह से कंट्रीज डिस्टर्ब हो सकती है। आई थिंक वो फियर अभी नहीं है। अगर आप इंडिया विक्स को भी देखेंगे तो इंडिया विक्स इज ऑल्सो एट सेम लेवल्स 18 के आसपास। सो वन थिंग इज वेरी क्लियर दैट fear is missing in the market. Only thing which is concerning or impacting to the market is FI's activity. They are consistently selling, and maybe because of that, the market is under pressure. But the good part is that based on technicals, market has crossed resistance level at 24,300, below which it has spent nearly 9-10 days. Crossing these levels clearly indicates that the market is heading for at least 24,600 or 24,800 sort of levels in the near future. So that's the, I'm to say, view based on technicals. 23,800 is going to act as major support for the market. So below that, the market can again come back to the levels of 23,500 or 23,300, but that looks difficult. So 23,800 को तोड़ना तभी पॉसिबल है जब मार्केट में कुछ और वर्स्ट रीजंस आए। अदरवाइज हमें लगता है कि मार्केट इसी लेवल पे कंसोलिडेट करेगा और स्टॉक स्पेसिफिक एक्टिविटी मार्केट में बनी रहेगी। कीप बाइंग गुड कंपनीज लाइक महिंद्रा एंड महिंद्रा भी कुछ दिनों पहले ही 3,100 के आसपास था, वहां से अभी वापस 3,400 हो चुका है। सिमिलरली इंडिगो में कुछ हमने अपवर्ड एक्टिविटी देखी, और इटर्नल विच वाज अराउंड सम 220 225, फ्रॉम देयर इट इज ऑल around at 250 260 sort of levels. So ऐसे बहुत सारे स्टॉक्स हैं जो हम हमारे वेबसाइट पे भी और हमारे ऐप पे हम रिकमेंड करते रहते हैं, तो प्लीज गो थ्रू विद दोज आइडियाज। आई थिंक दिस कैन डेफिनेटली help to invest in such type of confusing markets. Yeah, that's all from my side, really.
Thank you, sir, and thank you everyone for joining us today. Have a good evening ahead.
Thank you.